In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone scales, and the dragons were no more.
Surprise, everyone! You thought I was gonna do something about the Divine War next? Well, I'm actually gonna talk about Vergos. Now the first thing you may be wondering is, hey, why are you talking about Vergos now? Isn't Vergos like sometime later? Well, actually, Vergos' lore is so convoluted and nobody knows exactly when this thing takes place. Now, I'm going to go through my reasoning as to why I should do Virgos here if I were to do the lore series chronologically. So, keep listening. So basically, Virgos was the first dragon. They called him the Dragonsire, created long ago by the gods to scourge the world of evil and stuff, that type of stuff we're going to get into. But here's the thing. Virgos is basically a god. He is more powerful than any single god. And because of how after the Divine War, all the gods became these freaking wimps that didn't know how to fight, I'm pretty sure that this took place before the Divine War. Otherwise, how the hell did the gods actually beat Virgos? Alright, let's get into it. Now, Virgos' lore is a little bit hard for us to get to because almost all of it existed in the quest line called Wrath of Dragons, which unfortunately is unavailable to us now, and I couldn't find any source of it online. Like, nobody had recorded doing the whole quest line, because who cares about this random quest, am I right? So I unfortunately am not able to get any footage for this. I am sorry. But wait! What if I choose to data mine it? Let's see if I can pull it out from the files. It shouldn't be that hard, right? Yeah, I'm never gonna try to dig up files ever again or something. Well, actually, it's not actually that bad because, well, this is the first time I've tried to do anything with the files since 64-bit. So, I was a little bit confused as to where to find anything, but after I got used to it, it's actually not that bad. So, I found everything that we need. Let's, try to debunk, Virgos' lore.
time of the Divine War, twisted creations of the dark gods ran rampant. To fight them, the gods of light created their own weapon. The first dragon, Vergos. Its wrath was terrifying, its power unmatched. Vergos lay waste to the opposing armies, but grew bored with hunting such inferior prey. Vergos turned its attention to the gods themselves and rebelled against its creators. Their battles shook the world, and when Vergos finally fell, its blood cursed us all.
Wow, that actually gave us a lot of information. Well, there is even more information that we can get from the questline itself, which I took from this beautiful website called TERAdatabase.net. And it actually recorded and documented the entire questline. So, Velik tells us the world is in grave danger, but I can only share this secret with a trusted few. She tells us that between this world and the celestial realm, there was once a mighty fortress built by the gods to keep evil from corrupting this place. By this place, she means the celestial realm. We called it Harrowhold, a fortress designed to withstand any evil. A dragon, the largest dragon ever known, has attacked Harrowhold, and the mighty fortress is now little more than a ruin. We believe that this dragon is Vergos, the first dragon, created by the gods long ago to scourge the world of evil, but later corrupted by it. He is the Dragonsire, as powerful as any god but far more savage, and Vergos seeks with hatred for us, the gods who once banished him. Whatever his intent in Harrowhold, it does not bode well for the gods, and if we should fail, the world will be plunged into 1,000 years of chaos. Now, Velik continues to go on, saying that Vergos is mortal, and it is possible for the most brave and trusted of mortals to defeat Vergos. Salaron then tells us about Vergos. His scales are as steel, his claws can rend mountains, his wings are a scouring wind, his breath burns like the sun. He should never have been birthed, but when did that ever stop us? He should not have been able to return from the abyss where we cast his broken, lifeless body. How did he accomplish this? I cannot help to think that Lacan played a part in Vergos' resurrection. Now continuing onwards, he tells us more about Vergos. He considered himself a god, he created beings in his own image, and there are dragons that worship him, so he has this godlike existence where he gains power from those that he create and those that worship him. Now, Salaron mentions here, no god can defeat Vergos alone, and that there has been too much that happened between us for the gods to ever band together against Vergos again. This quote is what prompted me to think that the entire thing with Vergos happened before the Divine War, though there's ways to interpret otherwise. Now, if we continue to go on, we can analyze both of these sources together and try to paint a full picture of what happened with Vergos. So, we learned from the cutscene that in the beginning, the gods all banded together to fight this dark god and his forces. His forces consisted of what appears to be Kokaris, which are these like gremlin goblin looking things, or you could they kind of also look like Gutrins. Klukaris and Gutrins are kind of like similar species. You can see a basilisk in the right hand side, and you can see fang spawns and orisks. Now, the cool thing about these creatures appearing here is that these creatures, in the lore, there is no specification as to who created them. So, the fact that these are on the cutscene does not give us a hint as to who this dark god was. Now, there is a hint here, though, and that is this strange-looking Lancer guy. The Lancer seems to closely resemble a member of the Atel Akkad or a Scion of Locke, but the thing is about this guy is that Locke did not have a follower group yet, so it can't be either of those two. So that leaves us with this strange figure in the middle, and this strange figure in the middle does not resemble anyone that I can think of. So what I came to believe is that this dark god is an unknown and unnamed deity from like the beginning of the universe that we don't know about, and every god that we do know fought against this one dark god. If anyone else has like any theories about who this dark god may be, feel free to put it in the comment section below, and I can try to think of a way that it might be possible. But honestly, this dark god thing really caught my interest, and I was unable to find anything about it. So the main gods we know actually were losing this battle against this one dark god. Again, this is another like thing that prompts me to believe that it's none of the gods that we do know, because from the creation stories, we know that none of the gods actually were capable of single-handedly taking on all the other ones. So at this point, Sauron suggested an idea of making Vergos a weapon of the first dragon to basically annihilate all of the creations of the dark god. Now, this was a really like almost unanimous decision amongst the gods, but one god dissented, and that one god is Velik. She proposed the idea that instead of creating one being that could be monopolized by one god, basically like, so there's only one Vergos, right? So if one god were able to get their hands on Vergos, they would have a huge power difference between them and the other gods, basically allowing that one god to conquer all the others, right? So instead, she decided, you know, what would be cool is if we created 8 different entities, when combined give us the same power level of Vergos. But with 8 of them, it would be hard for one god to monopolize. And this was not agreed upon by the gods, and Sauron was able to get his creation in there. We see from this cutscene that 4 gods banded together. You see Velik, Mistel, Kaya, and what probably is Sauron over on the left, creating Vergos. But according to Verdas's journal, it seems that all the gods were actually involved in the creation of Vergos. And Vergos laid waste to this dark god and completely annihilated them. But according to the gods, Vergos was corrupted by the evil of the dark god, and thus turned upon the gods. And in this epic battle between the gods and their creation, Vergos was defeated and sent into this deep abyss where his blood cursed us all. Now, in foreign versions, namely German, which is the one that I actually looked at, this cutscene did not say his blood cursed us all, but instead, he uttered curse words at the gods. So it's a little bit of a difference, but it will come in very important later on. Now, after Vergos was cast down, Velik took it upon herself to lay 12 curses on Harrowhold, ensuring that Vergos would never come back. So Velik cursed Harrowhold to make sure that Vergos would never revive, or anything like that. Well, good job, Velik. So, and that's like the creation and full story of Vergos from the gods' point of view, right? But I feel like there's something missing.
My children, once so strong, brought down the gods and enslaved by the scribblings of inferior races. We were meant to rule the skies, not die in the dirt.
So, it turns out that Vergos, after accomplishing his goal, the purpose for which he was created, he began to live peacefully. He created his children, these dragons, that he wanted to rule the skies, become another one of the races, because all the races in the world of TERA are land-bound. And he would be the one to basically rule the skies with his dragons and wyverns. However, the gods, it turned out, the gods had different purposes for Vergos and his children. The gods did not want a being as powerful as Vergos around anymore. He felt like Vergos' existence was a threat, and that perhaps, maybe in the future, Vergos would turn on the gods. So instead, the gods one day decided to kill all of his children. And Vergos, seeing that he was just a tool being used by the gods, and seeing that his usefulness is up and that he will be destroyed by the gods, just like his children, he decided to make a final last stand before going down as he was destined to go down. So in his final words, he cursed the world not with his blood from the dark god, but rather because the gods who created him has betrayed him. And this is how Vergos came to hate the gods. Just listen to his quotes in the battle with him.
Do you still believe your gods will save you? Why do you stand and die for them?
Why do we fight for the gods? Will we be disposed of just like Vergos was? Are we just fighting because the gods tell us, and then when they don't need us anymore, will we be thrown away and killed as well?
Now is the time of dragons. Cast down your gods and grovel before me.
This was his original intention. He just wanted his children to be part of the world. And now he has a second chance to go back at what the gods made. Now, instead of the gods enslaving the dragons, he will try to make it so that the dragons will enslave the mortal beings of the world.
There is no redemption, no forgiveness. All who follow gods must die.
There is no redemption or forgiveness for what the gods did to Vergos and his children. The gods destroyed everything that Vergos created, everything that he knew and cared about. And now, Vergos, now overwhelmed by his own rage for what had happened, he will destroy all that the gods had created and all that the gods had cared about to get back at what happened to him and his children. This is not the voice of someone who is corrupted by some sort of evil god. This is the voice of vengeance against the people that created him, against the people that he trusted so much, and of course, against the people that killed his children and enslaved them to the hands of the mortal races that the gods created. He wanted his children to be free, yet now all the dragons live as the slaves of the Falchion Federation. You know, remember how you went into Harrowhold thinking you were gonna slay the dragon that threatened the universe? Well, you went in there, and the first thing you did was kill his 4 children. In a way, the actions of the hero of the Federation, namely your protagonist, is just a replay of what happened with the gods. 20 mortals, 30 mortals, just like 20 gods or 30 gods, banded together to slaughter a dragon's children and kill Vergos himself all over again. And that is sadly the story of Vergos. It's not one about a hero who fell into darkness and was corrupted by the evil. It's about a hero who was betrayed by those that he trusted the most, and sadly fell victim twice to the people that he once trusted and loved so much.